What's up and welcome in. Today we're talking about Prismatic Titan, my build for Grandmaster Nightfalls. Special shout out to my friend Dark, who was the inspiration for this build. This thing is super powered in this week's Grandmaster Nightfall that is graced, which is one of the easier, more ad-dense Grandmaster Nightfalls there is, which is why this is so much fun and so crazy. Basically have unlimited melees, which means you have unlimited consecration and suspends with Dranger's Lash and Shackle Grenade. So you're suspending and igniting basically everything in sight. So many explosions, so much green stuff, so much red stuff all over. It's amazing. Tons and tons of control, and that's due in part to Ambient Leap, the exotic of choice. Improves Dranger's Lash. Projectiles track targets more aggressive and travel further. You gain Woven Mail when you suspend a target. That's the big deal. So you're able to suspend everything with Dranger's Lash or with a Shackle Grenade, and then you have Woven Mail, so you're super tanky. You can go in and Consecration, slam, and scorch the world. Hey, if you want to do Grandmaster Nightfalls with me or some other conquerors like me, join the Discord that's in the description below. Let's do some Grandmasters. Let's go over the subclass. For the ultimate, for this Grandmaster Nightfall, I'm going for damage. There could be use cases for some of these other ones, but really, this is a ton of damage. It debuffs the boss and weakens them, and it's just a ton of fun. You can also pick up the axe, which you don't really need to, but you can. And then you got a giant axe that's pretty fun to use. With this build, Transcendence is very important and incredibly fun. It's the most fun I've had going Transcendent on any build in the final shape. So as much as you can possibly with your fragments and with your weapons, you want to be building Transcendence energy as much as possible to be able to go Transcendent, to just get a ridiculous amount of Frenzied Blades, so you can get a ridiculous amount of Consecrations and Scorching and Ignitions. Plus, your Electrified Snare Grenade will also suspend, which will also give you Woven Mail. Even while you're Transcendent, you can still suspend and get Woven Mail, and you can still use Consecration and get a ton of these Frenzied Blade because you get your melee back so fast while Transcendent. For the abilities, Rally Barricade. I like Rally for the short cooldown. Plus in Grandmasters, it's nice to have a little bit of cover to hide behind. You could go with Thruster, but it's only a little bit better of a base cooldown. This helps with weapon reload and stability in range when you're standing behind it, and I really like that. I would not recommend Towering Barricade for this, because you want to be using Dranger's Lash, so you want to be aiming the Rally Barricade towards enemies, and you want to be able to shoot them after you suspend them and not be stuck behind a Towering Barricade. Then Frenzied Blade, so you get a couple different charges of it, which is important. You can use each charge to do Consecration. A Shackle Grenade to suspend enemies to get yourself Woven Mail even more. And then for the aspects, obviously Dranger's Lash, because we're utilizing Ambient Leap. Activate your Barricade ability to create a ripple in reality that travels forward along the ground, suspending and damaging targets it hits. So that gives you Woven Mail as well. And then on top of that, Consecration. While sliding, activate your charged melee ability to launch a wave of solar energy forward, damaging and scorching targets in front of you as you leap into the air. While airborne, activate your charged melee again to slam to the ground and create a second larger wave of damaging solar energy. If the wave hits a scorched target, they ignite. It's basically wave 1. You slide and scorch, and then you slam and ignite. So how I like to do that is suspend them either with Dranger's Lash or Shackle Grenade or Electrified Snare Grenade. Get Woven Mail, slide in, slam them over and over with all your different charges of Frenzied Blade. For the Fragments, Facet of Hope. While you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. This is to utilize Dranger's Lash more often. Facet of Courage. Your Arc, Solar, and Void abilities deal increased damage to targets afflicted with darkness debuffs. I'm not 100% certain on this, but I believe that includes suspending. But also, it gives plus 10 discipline. Facet of Blessing. Melee final blows start health regeneration, while Transcendent melee final blows start health regeneration for you and nearby allies. So this is nice because you get a ton of kills with Consecration, and that melee final blow will start health regen. Facet of Protection. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage, while Transcendent, the effect is increased, so just more safety and plus 10 strength, which is nice. Facet of Purpose. Picking up an orb grants either amplified restoration, frost armor, Woven Mail, or overshield based on the damage type of your equipped super. So picking up an orb gives you a tiny little overshield. And then Facet of Ruin. Increase the size and damage of the burst when you shatter a stasis crystal or frozen target, and increase the area of effect of solar ignitions, plus 10 mobility. This is more for the solar ignitions because of Consecration, getting a ton of ignitions, so this just helps increase that size and do more damage. Then for the mods, I got 2 hands-on, gain bonus super energy on melee kills. get a ton of melee kills, so you get your super back a lot, and Twilight Arsenal is super strong, so you can use that just a ton and get a lot of damage out. In Kinetic Siphon, I almost switched this to Arc Siphon because I was getting more kills with my Indebted Kindness than my Outbreak Perfected. You can really just go with whatever you get more kills with, use that kind of siphon. The weapons with this setup you can kind of interchange, so whatever siphon you want. We're doing most of our stuff with abilities and with spamming Consecration. And because of that, we're running 2 heavy-handeds. Your powered melee final blows create orbs of power, and 1 fastball just so I can hit that shackle grenade on faraway enemies if I want to. And then 2 arc resistance mods because there's an arc threat this week. So whatever the threat is, use 2 resistance and then a concussive dampener to protect against area of effect damage. And then on the legs, I got insulation, reduce class ability cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. That's to use Dranger's Lash more often, get more suspended, get more woven mail. Recuperation replenishes health each time you pick up an orb of power, just to save you and get some heals on those orb pickups. And then Absolution, reduce all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an orb of power. Then on the mark, I got Bomber, reduce grenade cooldown when using your class ability, and Reaper, shortly after using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. We're using our class ability a ton, so this helps make a lot of orbs. And then Utility Kickstart. This is the only thing we're using armor charges for, just to get our class ability back as much as possible, get everything suspended and everything locked down as much as we want. Then for the weapons, these are really up to you. For this week in this Grandmaster, I'm using Outbreak to take care of some of those further away barricades. You could really use anything. You could use Blast Furnace, you could use the Call here and Graviton Lance here. It's really whatever you want to use in the weapons, use that. But for me, Outbreak Perfected is just so strong. Indebted Kindness takes out red bars mostly in one shot, which is really fun. And then for this Grandmaster, I'm using Edge Transit or Hammerhead, depending on if I want to use it in some of the ad rooms, or if I only care about boss damage, then I'm taking Edge Transit just for the boss, really, just to make those super fast runs. But again, use whatever you want. You could put a Blast Furnace here and Leviathan's Breath down here or whatever. You don't really need Indebted Kindness to take care of Unstoppables. We have so many Suspends and Ignitions that we can take care of Unstoppables just with that. I don't think I stunned a single Unstoppable with Indebted Kindness in all of my runs. I think I just stuck with suspending them. But barriers, I would always suggest taking a barrier weapon. Even though you can get Radiant, I would still bring a barrier weapon. And this week, it's a Void or a Solar Surge. You could use any Solar heavy you want to. And then for the artifact, Anti-Barrier Pulse, Elemental Siphon, Radiant Orbs, Void Hegemony, Shield Crush, and Transference. Then for stats on the build, definitely prioritize 100 Resilience to get that 30% damage reduction. Discipline as high as you can to get that grenade, Shackle Grenade as often as possible. And then Strength to get that Frenzied Blade and Consecration as much as possible. The other stats do not really matter, so just get them as high as you can. That's the build. Thanks so much for watching. If this was at all helpful, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. I do really appreciate your time. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you on the next one. Peace.